Welcome to TBI Time. I'm Scott Stewart, your host. With me today is Sharon. Sharon's from BIANIS, Brain Injury Association, New York State. Hello.
Hello.
Tell me a little more about your position, please.
Well, I work for the Brain Injury Association of New York State as a FACS coordinator, and FACS stands for Families, Advocacy, Counseling, and Training Services. The counseling piece is just supportive counseling,
Okay.
but we do provide trainings to organizations, to schools, to families. We provide advocacy and information and resources to people that have brain injury. The FACS program is run mainly funded through a grant through the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, OPWDD. And so their stipulation is that someone has to have had their injury prior to age 22 in order to enroll in the FACS program. However, the Brain Injury Association of New York State is there for anyone regardless of when they were injured. They can call an 800 number to get them a call and ask them, for information and resources, any kind of support they need. Sometimes they'll circle back and have the person call a FACS coordinator in their area, because we understand the local and state resources in their area, and we can help them, over the phone and email, and give them what they need to kind of move forward in their journey of brain injury. And the Brain Injury Association is a membership organization, and we rely on membership dues, but also, we want to have a stronger voice in Albany. That is where the Brain Injury Association is out of, in Albany. So that's,
How do people get in contact with BIANIS?
They can email at info@bianys.org, or they can call the 800 number, 1-800, it's 444-6443, and they can get a hold of us there between the 8 hours of 8 and 4, Monday through Friday.
Outstanding. What are the waiver services?
Waiver services, there's several different types of waivers throughout New York State, and to name a few, one is the traumatic brain injury, the Department of Health Medicaid traumatic brain injury waiver program. That is run through the Department of Health, and there are provider agencies such as AIM that can, help people with finding services. A person would have to become eligible for that waiver. And there are also the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities waiver program, also Medicaid driven. And again, someone would have to have had a developmental disability under the age of 22 to receive services with the OPWDD waiver.
Could you explain what OPWDD is?
It's the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities Services. They used to be called OMRDD.
Okay.
And it's a statewide program, and they actually give us the grant to run the FACS program.
Is that only here in New York State?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
As far as OPWDD, I know that there are other agencies like that throughout the country, I would imagine. So I'm not really sure.
Are these services local, like within the county? Are they statewide, or are they national?
Okay. The FACS program is statewide. There are 9 FACS coordinators in the state, and I run I assist people in the 9-county area in the Finger Lakes. And then there's other FACS coordinators throughout the state stationed in the local area where people live. Now, I'm not so local because I'm living up in Wayne County and have a home office there, but I'm local in a sense that I know the agencies, state and local, and the information and resources that people may need that live in the 9 counties that I serve.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any specific programs for family members?
I guess that's kind of a broad term. Specifically, how do you mean?
Any programs that really help family members to understand what a brain injury is and what they can watch for with their spouse or their family member?
Well, the family can easily call the Brain Injury Association of New York State to ask for resource information for the family. The more they learn about brain injury, the better it will be for the entire family, especially the person with the injury.
Outstanding. While the TBA patient is in the hospital, is there anything that the family can do?
Yes, they can call the Brain Injury Association for the resources and information and potentially get hooked up with a FACTS coordinator. But the biggest thing is to follow the doctor's orders, find out as much as you can about brain injury when the family's ready, because at first they're just thrown into this without expecting it. It's a journey that nobody ever expects to be in. So that's the main thing. Find out as much as you can about brain injury for your loved ones so that you can be the best support for them.
How is Bionis paid for?
Well, the Brain Injury Association is, like I mentioned, is a membership organization, so we do rely on membership dues, and we really do need that strong voice in Albany. The larger the membership, the larger the voice we have. So if you are, and anyone else here listening, interested in becoming a member of the Brain Injury Association, they can call the 800 number and find out more. There's individual prices and special prices for someone with a brain injury discount, and professional organizations can join as well. We also do fundraisers throughout the year, and we're having one coming up next month, September 14th. It's our fourth walk in Rochester, but we also are walking, it's called March On for Brain Injury, and we're walking in Rochester, Long Island, New York City, and Hudson Valley this year at the same time at 10 o'clock. Prior to that, we have a lot of fun activities, and sign-in registration is at 8 o'clock. But if you want to learn more about that, you can go on our website and sign up. You can donate, March On for Brain Injury.
And I will post that at the end of this clip.
Thank you.
Are there any public programs that are offering financial support?
Well, there's a lot, so it all depends upon where that person's living. While I've been working as a FACTS coordinator, as someone's telling me about their journey, about what their needs are, I'm not a service coordinator, but I can help the person find some resources maybe they didn't know about, like things like cognitive therapy, and I'm talking more like working with a speech pathologist that understands brain injury to potentially help with the strategies that a person needs that has a brain injury. These kinds of services maybe somebody doesn't know about, so that they can access this through a referral from their doctor. They don't necessarily have to be on a waiver program to get this type of service if they feel it's something they need. Some people will call us, is there any counselors in the area that understand brain injury? I really want my loved one, or I need the person that has a brain injury. I need someone who understands brain injury. So there's a lot of different other resources too. A lot of times housing and transportation is a big issue. And so the FACTS coordinators and the Brain Injury Association may have information that might be able to help.
Outstanding. Are there any programs that assist with long-term services?
I guess it depends upon the person. And their insurance. So that it just depends on the person. There are long-term services for some individuals. The Department of Health waiver program is supposed to be a graduated program where somebody would, gain skills, working with an independent living skills instructor, working with, maybe a community integration counselor, and those kinds of services. And once they get these strategies, I've known quite a few people that have graduated off the program successfully and, continued on their life. And once they've learned the strategies, it's really helped them. Again, I know some people that aren't on a waiver program that have learned strategies on their own and has been able to manage better and knowing what their limitations are. Sometimes people with brain injury don't know what their limitations are, and the family's members do notice that. And so it's hard, for the relationships.
I understand that.
Yeah.
While waiting for services to happen, are there any legal issues that need to be dealt with, such as power of attorney or?
Well, again, that would depend upon the person. Sometimes people need, power of attorney or guardianship, and they can call the Brain Injury Association for that information. So they know where to start to look for that. Like for instance, guardianship, you would have to go to your surrogate court where you live. I think it's like $25, to put in a fee, and you don't necessarily need a lawyer at that point when you start the paperwork. But you would just call us, and we would just be the first point of somebody to call to find out, okay, here's our situation, what should we do? And the fax coordinators don't have the answers to everything, but we're willing to look and willing to dig and just kind of take some of the burden off the family or the person that has the injury to help navigate, what systems will work for them out there.
Approximately how many people in New York State have been diagnosed with a TBI?
Well, 1.7 million people every year sustain a brain injury in New York, and it's in the country. And in New York State, about 500 people sustain a brain injury every day. And that I know. And that includes concussion. And concussion is actually a brain injury. Some people don't really think about it as a brain injury, but if this is your brain and this is the skull, the brain can move around inside the skull. And even if there's no bleeding and bruising, like a more severe brain injury, there are other chemical changes in the brain that cause symptoms, such as dizziness, or maybe the person was, in a little accident and they didn't really hit their head, but maybe they had their whiplash, and it's enough for the brain to shake back and forth. It just can stretch those axons, those that are attached to all our billions, 100 billion neurons in the brain. And it can make a change in the brain permanently. Because stroke is a brain injury, concussion is a brain injury. So concussion, we do have a concussion initiative with the Brain Injury Association right now. So if anyone wants to learn more about that, they can call us about that as well.
In biennies, how often are goals reviewed to make sure that the customers are getting the services they need?
Okay. Well, if a person is in the FACS program, it's not so much goal-oriented as it is with a waiver program, but we are kind of just finding out what your needs are right now, and we give you the information and support as you navigate things, and then people can call us back anytime they like to get more assistance. So we're not like a record-keeping company. We don't have to record, the goals like an individual service plan, or we don't have to do that sort of thing. We're more information, resource, support, training. We're into that, and advocacy. But we don't really set up certain goals. But a person might call us and say, I think I might be being evicted from my apartment because of this reason. What do I do? And so I might hook them up with Law New York, or Legal Assistance of Western New York, or Empire Justice up in Rochester, or or a protection and advocacy program through the Disability Rights New York. So there's different resources that people might not know about that I can hook them up with, so that they can stay in their home, or they can safely not become homeless and transition into another living situation. So I have someone like that, and actually 2 families like that right now that I'm assisting with to keep them from being homeless. So I just hook them up with either other agencies or more information and support, so that they know where to go, so they don't become homeless. But it all depends on the individual. They'll call us, and we'll just we don't really goal orient, but if the goal is to keep you not homeless, or if the goal is to teach your family about brain injury so they understand better, then we can offer that help.
Well, finally, with all these different organizations, can any family member or spouse go up to them and say, look, I see a problem here, can I get help?
Yeah, you just call our 800 number, ask them, tell them what your situation is, and they will give you the information that you need. If you want to speak with a FACS coordinator to see if you're FACS eligible, certainly ask for a FACS coordinator's phone number, and you can call us. And even if you're not FACS eligible, we are able to talk to you on the phone, let you know about our support groups in the area that you live. That's a wonderful place for resources and support, especially for people with brain injury and their families. Great information place to go to learn more about brain injury itself. Of course, every brain injury is different, but there is some commonality of it when people come together and they feel that they're not alone. The very first thing I did when I started working for the Brain Injury Association was go to a support group so I could learn more about brain injury. It's been a really good source of information for me, so I was able to help others as well.
Mm. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for coming down from Rochester.
Oh, thanks for
I really
having
appreciate
me.
it.
Thank you.
All right, and next is our interview with Joe. I'm here to interview Joe. Joe, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
Joe here has a traumatic brain injury. Can you tell us a little bit about how old were you when you had your traumatic brain injury?
I was 17 years old.
17. What happened?
I was riding home from the library, ended up starting to cross onto Ridge Road, and ended up getting hit by a truck. Ended up breaking my entire left side, and a severe concussion.
Were you in a coma?
No.
No. When were you diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury?
Right then and there, when I was in the hospital.
When you were in the hospital, okay. When you were in the hospital, did your friends or family look for help?
Not right off the bat, but we did end up getting our lawyers set, so that was the important part.
Well, that is a very important part.
Yeah.
Was there any programs out there available for people with traumatic brain injuries?
Yes, but it was hard for us to find.
Interesting. Are you on any medications?
Yes, I am. I'm on a few. Only one's meant for the pain, though.
Okay. Have you been going from doctors and different specialists?
I had to go for my leg for 2 surgeries because the first one didn't take. Had a rod put in my leg. I didn't have any surgery in my head. So.
Are you working?
No, but I was for a while. I ended up having a hard time working after a while, so I ended up quitting.
Are you looking for work now, or?
Not at the moment. I do odd jobs here and there, though, so I'm keeping myself busy.
Well, that's good. Do you belong to any organizations right now that are helping you through your traumatic brain injury?
Yes, I belong to Bridges, and I work with a few people associated with that program. I think AIM and All Metro.
Okay. Do you think that they're helping you?
Yeah, I think they're helping me pretty well.
What kind of problems do you associate with having a traumatic brain injury?
Memory, focus, actually being able to keep track of what I'm doing, just in general.
Do you have friends or family that are helping you with any of your problems?
Yes, but it's still difficult for them to get where I'm coming from. They try to, but it's not as easy for them to get it. I keep trying to tell them what I'm dealing with. It's been quite a road.
With that point, are there any programs that you know of that can help your family, maybe guide them toward what's going on with you?
I've been doing some counseling in general, and I think it helps, but it's not doing everything for it. It's still trying to talk to my family and get them to understand. I think they get a little bit more of what I'm going through, but they don't have it all.
Is there any other resources that you're looking for, or are you pretty set in your ways right now?
Not really a resource, but I'm trying to get involved with the Victims Impact Panel.
Okay, tell us some more about that.
Pretty much a lot of people that have been caught with DUI, DWI, or texting and driving, stuff like that, would be sent there and have to participate in a few programs, people talking about what happened to them or their family members or friends. I'm trying to get involved with that to share my story with them and hopefully prevent something that happened to me from happening to anybody else.
Oh, that's good. Since your accident, do you feel that you're getting better, or you're getting worse, or?
It's an up and down ride. I have days where I feel like I'm totally fine, and the next day I can't even think straight at all. So it's up and down for me.
And as we've discussed over the past few months, you're going to be doing a bicycle safety program for
Yes.
TBI Time.
Yes.
How important is this to you?
Very important. Unfortunately, I see a lot of kids in this neighborhood riding without helmets, riding recklessly, riding on the wrong side of the road. I just don't want to see anybody end up getting hurt because they weren't paying attention, or they were paying attention but doing something wrong. And I just really want people to have good guidance on this, get the resources they need. Sorry, hang on.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. And right there's one of my issues too.
Lose your train of thought?
Yes.
Yes. Those with traumatic brain injuries understand what you're going through. Finally, do you have any last words for our viewers?
Yeah. Take caution when participating in sports, other activities. Wear your helmet. Wear your seatbelt. Follow the law. You might not think it's important, but you could be saving your life or somebody else's life. Obviously, don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Just drive.
Good to know. Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate this interview.
Yep.